What's good and what it do, guys? I'm back with another haircut tutorial, and we got a number 2 on the sides and a skin taper. So my boy likes to get his hair rounded off on top. He likes the number 2 to go pretty high up there. So what we do is we're taking the two, as you can see, we're gonna take it pretty high up there. Where I'm gonna be able to clip over comb it later. But as of right now, I'm gonna show you guys exactly the simple steps of like just trimming the hair down, preparing it for the guidelines and such. So you know how we start. If you've been watching, we start with the Gold FXs, my reliables. Knock that hair down, get the guideline ready to go. You know, you gotta have a clean canvas at all times. So as you're knocking down the hair, making that guideline, make sure you're cleaning off the face, making the customer comfortable while you're doing it. So I'm gonna show you the side and the back. If you've seen other haircut videos, you pretty much know what I do and the steps I like to do. But if you're new here, welcome to the channel. Hope you guys enjoy. If you liked the video, make sure you shoot a like, and if you watched it, if you learned something, make sure you drop a comment. But yeah, let's get right to it. Here we are with the Babyliss Pros open what do you call it, open lever, and we're making another guideline where we're gonna work into. And now you see me blending in the bottom guideline that I did with the trimmer, and that's with the closed lever. So you open it to make a guideline a little higher up, and then you go back down and you close the lever and you start blending out that little guideline we initially made. And you use your corners are your best friends. So you hit the little corners, angles, and you get rid of that initial guideline. Easy. After that, we're gonna get the number 1 guard, open lever. We're gonna start flaking out that little dark line, and use your corners. But yeah, if you're watching the video, I'm sorry because it keeps blurring out. I must have had the settings wrong. Hopefully it's not too bad. So we opened it when we started, and then we went back down. Remember, we always go back down and close the lever and start blending out the little dark guideline that was there. And his hair kind of grows like to an angle. I don't know if you can tell. If you look really closely, you could tell that it doesn't go down. It goes like down to the left. So that's the way I gotta fade, and I do fade just so I can get those lines out. But sometimes you gotta work around the hair, and not necessarily just because you gotta fade in one direction that you always gotta do it like that. People's hair is a little different, so you gotta just try different techniques. And we're going a little higher now with the 1.5 open. I'm blending out that other dark lines that that were there to blend in with the balding. And as you can see, it's not that hard. It's pretty simple, guys. It's it's just practice and everything, but for the most part, like, you just gotta go back and forth, and always just be very detailed with it. Right here, we got the half guard. Any little dark areas that we see through that, that initial guideline to the 1.5, we're gonna go in there close with the closed lever, and we're gonna start flaking out anything that kind of bothers. And after you do that, take it off, open lever again, and any little dark spots, lower. Just keep going lower though. When you got no guard on the clipper, just make sure you don't go too high. Just stay low and just blend those little low areas. The transition has to look smooth, but you don't necessarily gotta take it all the way up there, because then you're gonna start making more like balding spots the higher you go up. So just try to stay low when you got no guard on. If you don't know already, you should know that we always go back and detail any little thing that we see. Just because it looks good doesn't mean it's like, ready to go. If you go through this side and then you go through the back taper, and then you still see little things that bother you, make sure you go back with the steps we already did and just flick it out. Just little parts, like you'll see at different angles. When you look at the hair, different angles, you'll see different little things that will kind of bother you a little bit, and make sure you go take those out. And now the old reliables, the Babyliss, the gold effects. We're gonna do, the curve around the ear, make sure we knock out any little lines or hairs that are still there on the taper. Make sure my boy's sharp, looking crispy already, he looks good. And that honestly didn't take that long. Let's say it took like, if I were to actually like do it like normal time without me having to like take it slow because I want to do a video for you guys, I think that would have taken me like 8 minutes, maybe 6, 5, I don't know, around that time. It's not that hard of a haircut. My boy his hair's pretty nice, so there it is. And the way I like doing my blending, I like doing the shaver at the end most of the time. There is times where I do it like in the beginning, but most of the time I like doing it at the end. And right here I'm hitting the skin, making sure it's bald. And if I do happen to like make another line on accident, because sometimes when you press on that shaver way too hard, too high, you can possibly make another line. You gotta go back in there and blend anything. Like right now I'm doing it with the half guard just because I just want to be a little extra with the details. But if you ever do it with the shaver, just make sure you go back with the gold FXs or whatever trimmer you like using to your preference, and blending out that shaver line, because you do gotta have a trimmer that is a hitter that will blend out that shaver line. And you see that taper is looking saucy, looking crispy, and it goes right with this head. Alright, outside that, now we're hitting the back. And what are we doing? Open Babyliss Pros. Open lever, we're gonna blend it out. We're gonna knock out that hair, and then we're gonna go close and blend out that bottom line. If it's too fast, make sure you go back and listen to these steps. But it's pretty much what you did on the side. Yeah, that's not bad. I was just like driving to see about what I wanted to do, Okay, we already did that blending with no guard, so now we gotta go get the number one and start knocking out another guideline that we're gonna get into. So, number one, open lever, start flicking it out to make another guideline, and yeah, you gotta give yourself space where you feel good that you could go back and blend into, but also just depending on how your client wants his taper. Like he might want it a little lower than this one, and that's alright. But my client is pretty specific the way he wants his hair, so that's what we give him. And now you got a 1.5, and we're blending out that darker area on top with a open lever. And if you feel like you need to close it a little bit because there's like dark spots that aren't getting in there, make sure you close it little by little. Okay, now we're going back down to the little dark area you see right there with the half guard, flicking it out. I'm pretty sure that it's like close or like one little dot off close. Just because I know that when I close my machine the whole way, like it's zero gap, then it's gonna bite the teeth on the guard. So sometimes I leave it a little open just see if it's like good enough, and if I do need to close it, I close it. I mean, those guards are pretty inexpensive, so I chew mine out all the time. I just go get a new one. I don't mind it, as long as my hair gets crispy. Not worth it. I mean, it's not worth too much to me. But if you don't want to keep buying them, then don't zero gap your machines all the way. You just gotta be careful, As long as it's not biting your client's skin, you're pretty good. You're straight, But yeah, close guard and flicked out that dark spot, and look, it's coming together real nice. And you know that some haircuts are a little more sophisticated than others, and this is not one of those haircuts. This is a pretty kind of not too hard blend to do, and yeah, so it goes by pretty fast. Plus, I've been doing it for a good amount of years, so if you guys are starting right now, or you guys got a couple years on you, just know that I've been in this game for a long time, and I'm still learning how to do things, and I'm still like open-minded to new techniques, and there's always new clippers coming out, so I don't think I'm like fully knowledge in like I don't know everything in the game yet, but when are you ever gonna know everything? Kind of never, because there's always something new. But yeah, we're going with the open 1.5, and we're flicking out that little dark area again that you can see on the camera. And sometimes, you know what, I'm gonna tell you guys straight up, there's times where it's impossible to get out some dark spots. Like, just very impossible, because like where it's right there, you see that little dark spot right there, that's when my client's hair is like kind of folds a little bit, so he has skin folding right there. And if you do try to make it a little bit more like lighter in that area, you're pretty much gonna go way too high. Like, it's gonna be way too high. So you could go with a one guard or half guard, but you don't really need to at times. It just looks good right there. You know what I mean? Because his hair's a little patchy. If you could see up and you go a little higher up, you know it's a little thinner on top, and it's a little patchier on top. So, you know, I took the number 2, made it as even as I could, and what I couldn't, you know, it is what it is, and he knows that. So that's why he likes me to go and round the whole top afterwards, so it could look a little bit more blended in. But you know what? There's only so much you could do, and don't be too hard on yourselves. It is what it is. Sometimes people have perfect hair, some people don't, and it's good, you know. And here we are with the shaver, making sure it's smooth as hell, dude. I love seeing my own work, and you guys should too. So whenever you put out something out there, like, just make sure you love it before you let it go, you know what I mean? And here we are blending out some of that dark area on top with my favorite machine that I ever owned in my whole life, my Andis Masters, because it gives it like a crispier, smoother clipper over comb. I don't know what it is. It just gives it that final little touch where it just like, it doesn't like completely like cut off the hair. It just kind of like chips it a little bit. It even sounds like it's crunching every time you cut hair with it. But yeah, I love that machine, man. So we blend it out back in the back of the ear a little bit. You know, you don't want to go too much, because then it's gonna look like a shadow fade in the sense. But yeah, my boy wants a taper, so that's what we gave him.
29, bro. I never heard of Cisco, bro.
You heard the song? Yeah, you know it. The song.
I probably do. I just never seen him, like, until today.
He says, oh shit.
I told him I was Cisco last week when this shit was actually bleach. That's what he told us. Cisco is flat. Yeah, but it was like camaraderie. So I cut it and I was gonna redo it. I put it all. I gotta redo it.
Alright, so my client likes a lineup, but the thing is, like, he has like a receding hairline and his hairline's thin, so he likes to keep it as natural as possible. So in cases like that, you kind of just want to hit it with the straight razor and just make the lineup with what's left of hair right there. You don't really need to hit it with the clipper. You just want to keep it as natural as possible. And I already hit it with the shaver, but I like making it even more bald and going over the ear with the straight razor. So that's what I do. Reverse hand. Sorry for not, showing you this little part. Just so many angles I could do without having a cameraman hold the camera. But basically, reverse hand. I flipped my hand over and started blending out. And these little areas are so annoying to get to, but it just comes with practice. You'll get it. You don't gotta put too much force in it. You just let the blade glide and do its thing. And if you feel like there's some areas still that you didn't get to, just make sure you go over with the shaver, not the straight razor. I mean, also a straight razor if you want to, but that's just preference. I like to do both. And you see, as I'm pretty much done, but I just like being a little extra with the techniques, a little extra with the details. So there I am, and that's pretty much it. Uh, a high skin taper, number 2 on the sides, and yeah, it goes with his head, and that's what he wants. You know what I mean? So whatever the client asks is what you give them, and that's how they, become a regular and start coming back and forth all the time. But yeah, if you guys watched this video, if you guys liked it, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe, share it to the boy that was just trying to learn how to cut hair, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. And if you watched it all the way, I appreciate it. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Later.